All right, Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching and ruling well in the scripture. Salutations to you, Akim, across the world, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity and maturity. And this is going to be a quick lesson, nothing super extensive, but also just straight to the point because we're in those times of the mark of the beast being implemented. All right, along with the vaccine and it's all sorts of things. But this is actually an article from 2 years ago from the Gospel Coalition, which is probably just a bunch of Christians. All right. Now, at this point, Christians don't really understand what is the mark of the beast and what isn't the mark of the beast because they don't understand and they can't come to a conclusion if the mark of the beast is actually physiological, which means physical mark. All right, and they're gonna show what they really think of in this article, man. It says it's an issue. I'm gonna read it from the top. It says perplexing passages. What is the mark of the beast in Revelation 13? It's an issue that continues to inflame debate about the end times and contributes to the overall hysteria because that's what it's bringing. And that's what it's ultimately going to bring when they implement this mark of the beast. People going to be scrambling. You see, this is what it's going to bring. And it also is bringing this type of spirit before it comes out because nobody can put their hand on what it really is. Especially the so-called Christians. But us at Great Millstone, from the apostles and elders on down, have countless amount of times told the world what the mark of the beast is. Countless amount of times, man. Okay, so these Christians are out of their mind, man, because they can never pinpoint what the mark of the beast is or what it isn't, if it's physiological or if it's spiritual, and they try to combine the two. All right, so it says an issue that continues to inflame debate about the end times and contributes to the overall hysteria that discredits the Christian community in the eyes of the world. Revelation 13:16-18, and the mark of the beast. I have in mind the belief by many that the mark of the beast is a literal tattoo, or a chip implant, or an imprint of sorts, or perhaps some other physiological branding by which its followers are visually identified. And that's exactly what it is. It's physiological. Let's see if I can get this. Let's web search this. Physiological, relating to a branch of biology that deals with the normal functions of living organisms and their parts, relating to the way in which a living organism or bodily part functions. All right, and let's go into the Merriam-Webster dictionary, because the mark of the beast is a physiological mark. It says of or relating to physiology. The physiological reasons here's some other examples, were still mysterious despite military and other researchers spending many hours on who could best endure the cold and why. So this has to do with your physical. And it's saying that the mark is physical. All right. And this is what the Christians believe it is, but they can't really pinpoint what it is. So let's go back. It says, I have in mind the belief by many that the mark of the beast is a literal tattoo, or a chip implant, or an imprint of sorts, or perhaps some other physiological branding by which his or its followers are visually identified. It's not going to be visually identified. You're going to be picked up on a system once you take the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. The popular notion among many Christians, usually of the dispensational futurist school of interpretation, is that some such designation, whether the name of the beast or the number 666 of its name, Revelation 13, will be forcibly imposed on people living in the final few years. And that's key, because that's what this person writing this article believes, but then he has contradictions. Because like I said, Christians can never tell you what is And what isn't the mark of the beast? They can't ever tell you if it's actually physiological or if it's spiritual, because they can't see what it is. Because the Lord only revealed that to his servants. Let me get that. That's a secret. Amos chapter 3 verse 7. Surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. Let's go into his word secret. Council, assembly. Council of familiar conversation. Divine, circle of familiar friends. Assembly, company, council itself. Familiar converse, intimacy with the Most High. It says, of familiar friends. So the Lord only revealed this to his servants, the prophets, his familiar friends, man. That's why the world can't get it. That's why Christians are double-minded in their understanding of Revelation 13. Because then he goes into saying this. Popular, yes, but correct, question mark. Again, this interpretation is largely based on a futurist reading of Revelation, such that what John describes pertains mainly, if not solely, to that last generation alive immediately before the second coming of the Anointed, which is right. If, on the other hand, the book of Revelation largely portrays events that occurred throughout church history, wrong. This view is seriously undermined, as is evident from Revelation 7. Now, they try to go into Revelation 7. We can go there. But first, let's go to Revelation 13. So Revelation 13, Revelation 13:15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Let's go into this word mark. A stamp, an imprinted mark, of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. And this is what Esau is going to implement. And it is physiological, so it is a physical mark. Christians can't put their hands on it because they're not familiar friends with Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They haven't been revealed. They haven't been given that eye salve to see that, which is why they go back and forth in the church, all right, and all these other denominations concerning the mark of the beast and what it actually is, when it's clearly, all right, the RFID chip and the NFC chip, which are both small chips that they're going to implant into your hand. And then you have stuff like Neuralink that they're going to implement it into your brain. They have this man has all kinds of wickedness and sorcery and witchcraft coming, man, by way of implementation into your skin. So this is the Greek word for mark in Revelation 13.
Strong's G 5480, charagma.
So it is physiological. It says a stamp, an imprinted mark, of the mark stamped on the forehead or right hands as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images, a sculptured figure, a graven mark, as a badge of servitude. So he's going to make you people slaves. All right, cattle. It says, I'm going to go back to this. It says, again, this interpretation is largely based on a futurist reading of Revelation, such that what John describes pertains mainly, if not solely, to that last generation alive immediately before the second coming of Yahweh Shai. And that's the times we're living in now. We're that last generation. If on the other hand, the book Revelation largely portrays events that occurred throughout church history, this view is seriously undermined. As is evident from Revelation 7, we should understand the mark of the beast on the right hand or the forehead of its followers to be a satanic parody, a religious ripoff, so to speak, of the seal. And that's not true. All right. The mark spoken of in Revelation 7 is a spiritual mark. Revelation 7:1, and after these things I saw 4 angels stand. This is the mark, the spiritual mark that is not physiological, that the true worshipers of the anointed receive, so that they are exempt from destruction and chaos that is coming, man, and from that thermonuclear destruction that the Lord is going to send by way of the nuclear missiles from these other countries, man. That's the spiritual mark. That's a whole completely different mark than the mark of the beast that we just read about in Revelation 17. So this is showing you these Christians don't know what the mark is and they don't know what it's not. They're double-minded. They don't understand the scriptures. So Revelation 7:2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it is given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. Now let's go to Ezekiel 9 to get a better understanding of what that is. Ezekiel 9, I believe it was Ezekiel 9. Yep, Ezekiel 9:4, and the Lord said unto him, an angel, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people before a place, and set a mark upon the foreheads. That's that word mark. Let's go into it. Show you it. This is not a physiological mark. This is a spiritual mark. Where is it at? Bear with me 1 second. There it is.
Strong's H8420. Tav.
All right, it says desire, mark. Look at this. Mark and is a sign of exemption from judgment. A signature, a desire, a mark. This is spiritual. Okay. An angel putting his mark on men. It's a spiritual mark. So it says, again, this interpretation is largely based on a futurist reading of Revelation, such that what John describes pertains mainly, if not solely, to that last generation alive immediately before the second coming of Yahushua. If, on the other hand, the book Revelation largely portrays events that occurred throughout church history, this view is seriously undermined. As is evident from Revelation 7, we shall understand the mark of the beast on the right hand or the forehead of its followers to be a satanic parody, a religious ripoff, so to speak, of the seal placed on the foreheads of God's people. And it really is Christians got a point, because it really is a knockoff, because Esau's going to use that mark to implement an idea of people being his slaves. And the Most High is putting that spiritual mark on his servants. It says, many believe the reference of receiving a mark is an allusion to the ancient practice of branding or tattooing. David On has documented several purposes for the latter. Barbarian tribes in antiquity practiced tattooing as a mean of tribal identification. The Greeks used tattoos as a way to punish both slaves and criminals. As such, it was a mark of disgrace and degradation, which accounts for the method of removal discussed in ancient medical literature. Tattooing could also be a mark of ownership, and that's a key point, similar to branding cattle. And these people are known as cattle because they're goyim. In a number, and even the wicked elite called them that. In a number of ancient religions, tattooing indicated dedication and loyalty to a pagan deity. And that's what these people are going to do when they take their chip. They're going to prove their loyalty to Esau in this wicked-ass kingdom. Because they're ultimately just cattle anyway, these people, man. back in Revelation 13, I don't want to make it too long. It's just showing you that these Christians don't know what they're talking about. They're double-minded. They don't know what the mark of the beast is and what it's not. Revelation 13 and 15, and he had powers to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that word mark in the Greek is charagma. And we can get it. Totally different mark than the one spoken of in Ezekiel the 9th chapter, man. This is the word for mark in Revelation 13. A stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images, graven. And he even went into it. Tattooing could also be a mark of ownership, and that's what it is, as spoken of in Revelation 13. We just read it. It's a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. So Esau is going to own these people. It says, in a number of ancient religions, tattoo indicated dedication and loyalty to a pagan deity, and that's the same thing, man. That these people are going to take the chip. You're gonna be loyal to Esau, the biggest, most wicked pagan ever to be on the earth, by way of submitting to the wicked elite by way of this chip. It says, that said, I don't believe the so-called mark of the beast is a literal physical mark on the bodies of unbelievers, and that's where he goes off, because we just proved to you that it is a physiological mark. It says either on their forehead or on their right hand. Throughout Revelation, we see Satan making every effort to copy whatever God does. For example, of course, Esau's trying to be the Most High. You're right. But the mark of the beast is a physical mark on the bodies of unbelievers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Period. Revelation, I don't even need to read any more of that. Revelation 13, because that's obviously a Christian unbeliever. Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had that mark, that implant, the RFID chip, the NFC chip, the physiological branding, or the name of the beast or the number of the name. Okay? So you're not gonna be able to buy or sell. So you're gonna have to prove yourself loyal to Esau, the pagan deity, so to speak, as the Christian said in that article. All right, in order to buy or sell. And the mark is physiological because it's graven into you. All right, and we just read that, and we just went into the mark in Ezekiel 9 and Revelation 7. Two totally different marks. Christians don't know what the mark of the beast is and what it's not. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the mark of the beast is a physiological mark. It's physical. It's going to be implemented. All right. And it's going to be an implant into your skin. All right. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. Call Halayim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching and ruling well in the scriptures. Citations to Akim across the world, pushing his word in truth and in sincerity and with charity. I'm gonna put this article in the description box. All right, and you can see how confused and bugged out. All right, and how far from the how not far from the truth, but how close to the truth, but far from the truth Christians really are, man. Because ultimately, the secrets have only been given to the prophets. That final conclusion, that definite on what the mark of the beast is, has been given to the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, starting with the apostles and elders on down. All right, so shalom and a Bible ball.